The private sector has got no role in the energy. I said to you, energy, power stations are a national security key point. So I'm not going to entrust the future of my country in the hands of a private man called Johan Rupert, who can decide any day I'm closing my power station the way he closes his own kitchen. No. The power stations and the energy cannot be in the individual rights. The same thing as water. Water is very strategic, key, important issue in our economy. You cannot entrust that responsibility with an individual. That's why the manifesto of the EFF says we will own strategic means of the economy. We don't just own everything, the saloon, the spas. We don't want such things. Anything strategic must be state-led, must be state-owned. If you have a problem with us operating PRASA, I'm amenable to listen to that debate, but I'm going to own the railway lane. Because trains, these locomotives, they can be replaced at any time. If you take them, I can get them somewhere and put them there. But the day you wake up crazy and you say you are taking your railway lane out because you don't like Malema, what alternative can I get? Because it will take me years to put a railway lane. Why would you entrust railway lanes in the hands of the private sector? But locomotives you can give to the private sector, there's no problem. There's a difference.
I wouldn't think maybe entrusting entirely. I would think it's introducing competition so that the state-owned company can compete and make sure that there are efficiencies. As we see it, many SOEs have been run as monopolies, but they are failing to deliver their core mandate. That's why we're talking about the potential for private sector participation.
Compete there, not on strategic sectors of the economy. You can compete on everything. Strategic sectors of the economy are owned by the state. 2, it's not true that South African state-owned enterprises failed. They were made to fail. Let me tell you, here in PRASA, they rent 10 locomotives for 50 million. Then out of 10, they take 3 to go and be operational and put 7 in a storeroom. Then 3, at the end of the financial year, that 3, obviously it can't bring us back 50 million. It brings us back 15 million. They bring that report to Parliament and say, look at what we've done. We've been renting this, operating these things. This thing is not making money. From 50, we only made 15. They are not telling you, we hired 10, we operated 3. Why? Make it fail so that everybody gets angry when you say, I want to privatize it. But yeah, of course. Well, how can we spend 50 million and make 15 million? They were sabotaged. They were made to fail. And at the center of that was Praveen, your former boss.
Let's go to online questions. There are a couple of them. The first one is, will you make any changes on personal income tax rates, value-added tax rates, or corporate tax? And in particular, potential changes in mining tax and royalties?
Well, corporate tax, we're going to make changes because we think we're not making as much as we're supposed to make because of these people who are engaged in illicit financial flows, people who are investing money in tax havens, and we ought to introduce tight laws, including tax avoidance. People say tax avoidance is not legal. Of course, it's not illegal. Your accountancy, that's your argument to do. But we don't want tax avoidance. We want everybody to pay what they're supposed to pay here in South Africa. Why do you punish the poor by increasing VAT? We want to reduce VAT from 15% to 14% because it's too heavy on the poor. Where will you make money from? We'll make money from the illicit financial flows, from corporate tax, which we are not generating sufficiently as we are supposed to be. I doubt, and I've said to Floyd, we need to make some investigation. I doubt if the Oppenheimers pay tax. Which taxman in the SARS will dare go to the Oppenheimers and tell them your taxes are due and this is a penalty, this is an interest? Who? if you value a job. Who? Those are the people that are stealing from this country. They do as they wish and they are untouchables. They will never be under the EFF untouchables, because we will not be in bed with monopoly capital that milks South Africa dry.
Next question to do with municipalities.
Yes.
That we know a lot of them are under financial strain. Says, if you come into a coalition, what would you do to assist municipalities?
We must make an infrastructural fund available to municipalities. And why should the municipalities apply for such a fund? Because as a national government, we must know where are the problems. There are certain municipalities that have got no source of income, even if you want to generate money from electricity, from water, they are rural municipalities. They've got no such capacity. Why can't we take the money and go and help them, including taking treasury people who are over-celebrated, to go and manage that money directly in the municipality to ensure that infrastructure is developed. Once you put piped water in the houses of our people, you put electricity, you put tar roads, and all the basic services, there is no way they will refuse to pay. Worse if you industrialize as well in those municipalities. But the EFF does not want provincial governments. So we don't want premiers. Premier for what? All of you seated here in RMB, one day just sit alone and ask yourself, what is the role of a premier, Mara? Like, what does the premier do? Like, what is the role of an MEC? What do they do? What does the MEC of education do? Because the curriculum is determined up there. We are all going to receive the curriculum from national government. And we are all going to write the national certificate. There is no Limpopo vendor certificate. There is a national certificate. So what becomes the role of these people? My councillor is more useful than the premier, because if there is a sewer blockage, I can call him, he comes to the site of the sewer blockage, call the municipal workers from there to ask them to come and unblock the sewer. No single premier can unblock even a sewer. No premier can patch a pothole or MEC. These things are put there for political patronage, of creating positions for each other without any meaning. They must be scrapped. Why do you have deputy ministers? What role does a deputy minister play? Seated in this hall, you are the creme de la creme of our country. But if I were to randomly ask you, who is a deputy minister of agriculture? You're going to look at me like, is there something like that? Yet you are the most educated. I'm not talking to the illiterate. These people are getting so much money from you, but have got no role to play. Patronage. Why do you need Minister of Higher Education and then another one of Science and Technology? What is higher education? Higher education is university and TVS. And science and technology is innovation and research. So innovation and research is the role of a university. So why do you separate this? It's one thing. You're separating it because you are trying to create as many jobs as possible for your supporters, and not just supporters, people who are in your faction.
So essentially streamlining government into two tiers, national and local government.
Gauteng must be a super metro with so many councillors with one mayor. Why mayor? The mayor can unblock a sewer. Look at that. There's provincial legislatures. Provincial, they don't meet. Why? Because they don't know they're meeting and then do what? They don't meet, they don't do anything. When they meet, it's a public announcement. Everybody knows legislature is going to meet today, because it doesn't happen more often. In parliament, we meet every day, including weekend. And when they say parliament is on recess, members of parliament are not on recess, are sent to do constituency work. Recess means constituency work. So we're working. Can you say the same about legislature? The answer is no. What do we need this for? Why are we paying so much for an institution that is irrelevant. Legislature is supposed to make the law. Why should there be a law of Limpopo and be a law of Cape Town when we are under one progressive constitution? Because every law we pass must be in line with the constitution. So we don't need any other law. One law for all of us. When they say the clubs are closing at 4 a.m. in Cape Town, it must be the same thing in Limpopo. Why should there be a separate law of Limpopo? How does this alcohol get people drunk? The ones of Cape Town, they get much better drunk, and this ones, it gets them more drunk. That's why they must sleep early. What is the rationale behind having this kind of 2 different, 3, 9 separate legislation? Is unacceptable. It's waste of money.